Yo, it's Sleazy in editing mode. Here's the thing about this episode of the podcast. I was having some latency issues when we made it. So normally I would just line up the audio and I hadn't had any trouble up until now. I'm having just a little bit of trouble lining it up, so you might notice a couple spots where the audio doesn't quite line up. But, you know, I hope it doesn't hinder the viewing. This episode features the homies Squid Essential and Dr. Mike. We literally just sat down and we're like, should we do a podcast? I'm like, yeah, just hit record. So there really isn't an intro. Yeah, enjoy.
Here's why I think Joe Rogan's a fascist. Like, just
go right into it.
just jump right into hardcore shit. People are like, whoa,
Whoa, dude.
I don't even know who the fuck these guys are, and they're just tearing into the big names.
I mean,
Spotify, pick me up.
give us a sponsorship.
$20K a month.
We sponsored by Raw Raps in no time, bro. I know it.
I've been thinking about what I want as a sponsorship right now. Number one for me is Yoo-Hoo, because that never gets old. And I would love to have just a can in my hands at all times if I could have any sponsorship. Then we talked about Johnsonville sponsorship too, and like, what's
Get
the
some brats
better?
in here.
Ultimately, we thought like from a health and sustainability standpoint, the Johnsonvilles would make the most sense. You know, there's more protein and sustainability with a brat, and there's a bigger range of products.
Yeah.
See, I feel like I
Yoo-Hoo
want
is
to do
fire.
something like Red Bull, but then I'd be afraid that they make me jump off of something really tall
Yeah.
and crash into something crazy. Like, we're going to need you to jump from the exosphere like that other guy. And be
Yeah.
Like, fuck.
You gotta break some kind of world record if you're gonna be sponsored by Red Bull.
Yeah, I mean, right?
I went straight into another Dirty Head song.
It's a sign. I don't think I've like listened to any of this music since I've stopped smoking, which I don't know if that's a coincidence or not.
Probably.
It's just that happy music, man.
Yeah.
That's probably why I haven't been happy since I've stopped smoking.
This is like our on your Bonneville all the time going hammocking and shit.
Oh, yeah.
We fell asleep. Both of him and I fell asleep listening to Dirty Heads, like in our own hammocks. We woke up and there's a fucking gang of deer just like
Yep.
chilling, like just
This
literally
shit
circling
slaps,
us.
bro.
Yeah, they were. They were like listening to it. It was fucking crazy.
Just staring at us.
They were really close too. Like
Yeah.
probably, I don't know, 6 feet away.
Hey, bro, you got some snacks?
Right.
Seriously, and we just kind of looked at him. We're like,
Like a hunter's wet dream.
Yeah, I mean, right? Just chill there with the shotgun, just bah!
we're like, I guess
Don't
deer
even have to
like
aim,
Dirty
just sit
Heads.
fire that shit.
It's got a good spread.
I'd probably take out 3 of you from here.
Oh yeah, they were ganged up too.
That probably was like 8 of them, dude. It was fucking. That was fucking wild.
Basically the same spot where that truck went off the road and hit a tree.
Yeah.
Thankfully, hit the tree. And
Did I ever
didn't go
tell you
any
about
further.
that? We were at this spot at the worst time possible, doing the worst thing possible. We were hammocking at the normal spot. This was every
As you
day. This was like, at the time, this was like the only hammock spot we knew of.
Yeah.
Like, Gold Camp, we just slowly went deeper and deeper over the years and kind of found other spots, but that was the first one.
Sure.
It was right off the road to get in there. Like, everybody passed us that came in.
Yeah.
And earlier we had got like blow up dolls, but not. They weren't ones.
man,
you
I
could,
don't judge.
They
Just
weren't
do what
ones
you
you
want.
could like fuck. You know what I mean? Like there wasn't any holes or anything. It was weird.
Blowjobs only, I got you.
No, they weren't sexualized. It was really strange, but they were. They were
Yeah.
everything else a blow up doll is without like.
Without any of the
Without
enjoyment.
genitalia.
Yeah, it was just like people. They weren't naked or well, maybe they were naked. There was just no parts.
Yeah.
And there was
They were
like
the
there was
Barbie
a
and Ken
lady
dolls.
one and a dude one.
Well,
and
we
so
actually we put clothes on them.
that's right. That's right. And I
Talk about your problems with
to
them.
this day I
Yeah.
can't tell you why we did that. Like
Oh, God, dog. You
Yeah.
rip ass?
oh, I haven't smelled it yet.
Oh yeah, she did. Oh
I
man.
haven't
God
smelled it
damn.
yet.
Ooh.
Ilwaft.
In the grow room too. I mean,
I'll
come
double layer. I'll double layer. Anyway, I don't know why we had them clothed and what we were doing with them. We weren't like being weird with them. We just kind of had them in our hammocks. It was like me, him, and Seabass.
yeah, I had one in my
So
laying in the hammock.
We-
with
Not
me.
doing anything weird.
we're like
No.
at the base of the road, but
Just
we're
being
not
friends.
fucking like far out there. So we're just chilling, like looking at the hammock. Everything's quiet. We're just hanging out, not doing anything with the dolls. They're just with us. And a gang of people pull up. Like I don't even know, like fucking 20 people
Oh yeah.
pull up and just start walking down the fucking trail that we're like blocking the trail.
Oh yeah.
Like our tree, so they have to like walk under us and
Yeah,
shit.
it goes like across the trail. Yeah.
Yeah, and it wasn't really a trail to anything. The only reason they were stopping there is because like they were going to memorial for their brother, cousin, whatever, that drove off the road. So they had like flowers and shit, and they just roll up on us.
Funeral procession.
We're like smoking weed heavy, like, you know, and they were chill with it.
Yeah.
But and then we kind of just pretended they weren't there for a little bit, you know, like
Maybe I
much
can
said.
blend into the background.
Yeah, and like kids were like running under us. You know what I mean? Like we were like in the middle of their party. Like it was weird as fuck. And one dude was super drunk and he climbed up a mountain right above us. And this fucker fell down the mountain.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like we
God
we,
damn.
Like
we,
20 plus feet.
we see his beer come flying and then he comes flying. And he was so drunk to like really be hurt. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
can tell
You
like,
don't feel it yet.
it
yeah.
fucked him up, but like nobody really ran to him or anything. It was just kind of like, whoa, did you fucking see that?
Yeah.
It was right behind us.
You're just like, can I offer you a blow up doll in this trying time?
I know, and it was just weird. And,
Oh.
and then I feel like, if I remember this right, they were leaving,
Yep.
and one of them was like, hey, do you guys come here often? We're like, yeah, all the time. They're like, can you guys keep an eye on the memorial for Seth? Yeah. And we're like, yeah, for sure, you know, we'll keep an eye on it. And then she's like, is that a blow-up doll?
You're like, less
And
questions,
we're like,
the better, please.
kinda. She's like, all right, have a good day.
As soon as you get the answer, kinda, you're like, no more questions.
I
Just
mean,
keep going.
their POV of this story is just as crazy as mine. It's like, none of it makes sense.
Yeah.
The universe brought us there at that moment, and
With your
I'm
blow up
perplexed
dolls.
by it, and I'm sure they're continue to be perplexed.
Yeah. They went there for remembrance and they found hippies.
Hippies smoking weed with blow-up
Blow-up
dolls.
I think I told you guys about the last time I went there by myself, where I found that fucking like crackhead or whatever that was hanging out in like one of the sewers, like right next to where I was hammocking at. I didn't see him at first, and then I fucking set up the hammock. I'm like, yeah, it's a decently good spot. It's kind of up and off the trail and everything. And so I kind of look around, look behind me, and I see the juice like fucking watching me like
Oh my
all
God.
big-eyed and shit. And like, oh, I don't like this. And that, like, I just like, I don't want to let on that I know that I saw this guy, because I don't know what the fuck he would do if he know that I saw him.
Right. Oh.
So I gave it 5 minutes or so, and I was just like, even audibly, even though I'm talking to myself, just like, yeah, I don't think I like this spot, and then just take all my shit down and like pack up and walk out. I'm like, hey, get the fuck out of here! Like, this dude's probably
Yeah.
fucking a body or something. Like, I gotta go.
Bro,
I
that-
don't want to be in the middle of this.
That place has always been sketchy. I mean, I remember hearing a
Oh.
story shortly after the story I just told, which was early on in us going there. Like a cab driver got kidnapped and raped up there, like a male
Jesus.
cab driver.
Yep.
The road washed out one time, like fully. If there was a car in there, you would be fucking dead. Like it was
Yeah.
like the
You're
side of a
fucking stuck.
mountain
Yeah.
Yeah.
down. And that shit was closed for a long time.
Apparently
Fucking,
his
we were there
cartel's
and
as well.
gunshots were going off. Remember that shit?
Yeah.
God damn.
These
Oh, yeah.
drunk dudes were shooting guns like into the mountain, and we were fucking right next to them. They must not have known we were there.
Yeah.
They were just drunk. They were laughing and loud and shit. And they were shooting, and it sounded like they were shooting at us
Oh,
to the
yeah.
point where
We
all
hit
of
the
us at the
deck.
same time hit the ground. Like, instinctually, we were like, oh, shit! Hit the fucking ground. I feel like you could hear the ricochets and shit. And, yeah, we got the fuck out of there.
Didn't we buy our guns after that because of
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
At least Mark.
That's
for
why I bought a
kind of
pistol.
Oh.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
I've been such a sheltered white boy my whole life growing up. Like, I remember going to a prom with one of my friends at her school, and it was one of those ghetto fucking
Oh,
schools,
yeah.
and that's still in like Southern California, so it can get pretty bad out there. And like, I show up to, I think it was prom. It was a prom or homecoming, one of those ones where you're supposed to dress up. Ideally, I'm like the only one, fucking even remotely. Everybody's fucking bumping and grinding and all
Oh.
that other shit. I'm like, I do not belong. And it's just like one of those things, like a balloon pops and everybody hits the floor. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, everybody thought it was fucking gunshots and shit. I was like,
dude.
oh my god, like, nope, I need to go. I don't belong here. Like, I'm in the wrong demographic right now.
Yeah, I never went to prom either, but for different reasons. Prom and homecoming. Yeah, I got kicked out by then.
Yeah, I
Before
got
that happened.
kicked out for the important ones.
Yeah. Man.
Bastards.
I was one of those kids who was like, I'm gonna go to every dance. I'm gonna go with somebody new every time. Did I ever do anything? No, I was a fucking sheltered kid. That never occurred to me. But I was just like, I'll go with someone different every time, because that makes me look like a fucking player, I guess. Not
There
that
you
I know
go.
what that is.
No, it does, yeah.
We had a shit ton of raffles a lot. I don't know if our school's trying to get us addicted to gambling and shit. We had like a gang of raffles.
Place $2 on this.
And
you
I
might
won
win.
a lot of raffles. Like, it was fucking awesome. I won like a $75 gift card to Best Buy
Ooh.
at lunchtime just from a raffle. Dude, that was my lucky era. Nothing, shit like that would never happen.
Oh, dude, that was
Yeah.
all the rich white kids. Like, it was nothing but playing, God, what was the popular music back then? Party Rocks.
Oh, yeah.
That was like all 4 years. This fucking Party Rock was at every single dance. Whatever you can think of in that vein is like all this shit. Gangnam Style was like
Yes.
like 2 to 3 years. Nothing but fucking Gangnam Style.
Oh, I can't stand the Gangnam Style
Oh.
era.
Watching those rich
Yeah,
white kids
that was
dance
rough.
as like, this is hard to
Because
watch.
that was like post like Usher and Akon and shit. It was like
Yeah.
a weird middle ground.
Oh
shit
yeah,
sucked.
Akon for sure.
Yeah, a little
Just
bit of
every
that.
time, and it's always just the one song. Yeah. Every fucking time.
Fucking
I don't think there was a new song at
apple
any of
bottom
those dances.
jeans.
Yep. Shawty got the apple bottom jeans. Yeah.
But nobody did like
Plenty
cool
of 50
dances to
Cent.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, how do you slow dance to Many Men? Who's dead upon me?
It's either that or 21 Questions.
Both. I'm pretty sure both happened quite a bit.
And they all about us.
I think Candy Shop too. I feel like that song was
yeah.
quite sexual, and the parents didn't really notice.
Not at our
Yeah.
high school. They were like, no, not here. Not what. This is not what Jesus would say.
Oh, dude.
Oh, you
That
didn't
was
get to
all over
experience
second.
public high school, man.
Yeah.
That was a fucking ride, dude.
Not
It
outside
was a
of just
trip.
going and visiting with some friends. Outside of just doing shit.
Yeah.
No. I remember. You remember Aaron? So I remember going with him because he went to Esperanza, and like we were just riding around, just fucking. I don't think he doesn't smoke, so I think it was just we were drinking and shit, and it's just like driving around, fucking egg cars, that kind of shithead stuff. And then like we went to like on campus, and there's a bunch of like cars parked there, but it's middle of the fucking night on the weekend, so we're like, it's clearly not staff cars, not shit like that. There was a bunch of fucking kids out there playing naked soccer out on the football field. So we went, and he had a fucking padlock, and he padlocked them all in on the field while they're all fucking naked. Their clothes are all fucking off to the side. Their cars are
Oh,
locked
that's
in.
awesome.
It's just like, oh, that's
Yep.
such a shithead thing to do, but
Oh, any opportunity you had to do some shit like that.
Oh,
We
absolutely.
were taking that. Oh.
I remember, I don't think you knew Melissa, because I think she showed up after you left. But she was like one of those kids where, you know, of course at private schools, you always have that one quote-unquote slutty chick where she's not really that bad, but she likes to play it up for the reputation or whatever. And like we drove past her house, same thing, like we egged it, and then he even got me at one point where it's like when you like toss a penny out the car as you're like driving past to try to
Yeah.
like shatter their windshield or back window or some shit like that. That was back when I still played baseball too, so I could fucking fling that shit. And he's like, I think you like busted the window. I'm like, fucking go! Like I don't even want to know. Just go. Like I don't need to get caught doing this. I don't need to get seen. Just fucking book it. And I'm like, we know so many people that work in the police department. I have an alibi if I need to. Just fucking go. We don't need to get caught here. Like no.
That's smart. We would hit mailboxes with full water bottles, rocks.
Full speed driving.
Yeah.
Hang out the window
Going
and
like
just
50 miles
fucking
an
throw
hour.
a full. Dude, you throw a full ass water bottle at 50. Takes that thing clear off.
Oh,
See,
yeah.
I've done like toss rocks inside their mufflers, so like when they start their car, they hear it rattle and they think that their car is fucking busted.
Yeah.
Just, I've never gone that like step too far. I've always been way too sheltered to.
Oh.
I thought like
Before-
egging was like the worst thing.
See, and that surprisingly, I never egged. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I like that was my too far, but yeah, I mean, I definitely destroyed some mailboxes.
For like the longest time, I was like, that's the
Put
worst
some
thing I've ever done
fireworks.
is egg somebody's house. And like,
Oh, yeah.
Fireworks in mailboxes. We tip over the porta potty every chance we fucking had at the park.
Yeah.
And I know somebody had to pick that up every time.
oh yeah, they get paid for
I dropped
it.
a bowling ball inside the fucking porta potty park. Can you imagine cleaning one of those out and be like, is
Oh,
that a
that's-
fucking bowling ball?
And
do
knowing
that
the people that have that kind of job, you probably took him with them the bowling night. Like,
Oh, totally.
We do that too with the
Awesome.
padlock.
yeah, he's like, this is a free bowling ball. Like,
Me and Austin would just padlock the padlock and shut every time. Like
Before the
nobody's
fight.
in there. But you know they had those little tabs on the outside. So we just slip our own padlock. They come and cut it off. We put a new one on there. Like just dicks.
remember there's a time where my cousin still lived with us, and like it was one of those nights. I think it was like people I used to play baseball with. They came in the middle of the night and they like saran wrapped his fucking car over and over and over again with the entire fucking roll. And he like woke up late for work that day. He's like, "Fuck, I gotta get to work." He's like, "Fuck, I can't get in my car." Like, it's all saran wrap. He's like, "Who would do this?" I'm like, "Shit, man, that's crazy. I don't know. Like, who knows?"
Oh, we've done that before.
God, I heard like you put salami in people's cars and that's supposed to take the paint off. I was just like, you can't do that. Like that's too far.
That and maple syrup. That's
Oh.
for like
When all the homies
On
had
the inside of like the
shitbox-
door handle. Yeah.
When all the homies had like shitbox cars, I think we would do a little bit of that kind of stuff. But it got to a point where it's like, oh wait, no, this is a nice car. Don't fuck
Just
with
like
this. Nobody had their first car off Craigslist. Like,
yeah.
my buddy Jose would just chuck quarters at my car because we would both take Woodman Road home because I lived in Falcon, he lived in Black Forest. So the whole way he'd be like throwing pennies. I'm like, fucking stop. Or if he was behind me in the parking lot, he would like fucking bump into me,
Yeah.
like push into me. I'm like, motherfucker, stop.
So I'm surprised nobody did that to like my truck, my first truck that I got, because it was a total shit. Like I got an F-150 that my dad used to work construction with the guy who owned it, so it had like 100,000 plus miles on it. Reeked of cigarettes. The fucking back seat belts have been torn out for whatever fucking reason. Fucking brakes squeak like a motherfucker even when you're not having the brakes on. I was like, there's no way somebody doesn't fuck with my car being at this rich preppy douchebag high school. Somehow they left it the fuck alone. Who knows why?
Interesting enough, that's how I learned about slashing tires. I was like helping my aunt out one summer, young, at Olu. And at summertime, from when we went in and came out, somebody's tires got slashed in the parking lot, like at summer. I'm perplexed by that, but I didn't know what that was.
Some pissed off kid that had to stay back for summer school.
Must be like noticed the teacher's car or some
Yeah,
shit.
like fuck this bitch, I hate this chick, and just slash the tires. Like,
I used to go with her, and she'd give me a big list of lockers, and I'd just go locker by locker and make sure there was nothing in them and clean them and shit.
fuck, dude. I remember one summer, it was like before I went on like the mission trip to go to Africa, and I couldn't fucking afford that shit. So they're like, well, what you can do to raise money is you can just walk around and like collect all the bottles and shit. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So like I collect bottles throughout the school year and like even into summer. So it's like I had one day, it was before I could drive, so my family dropped me off. And they're like, all right, you know, do whatever. We'll come pick you up when it's time after we get off work and everything. I'm like, all right, cool. Walk around, I collect all the bottles. It took like 3, maybe 4 hours. That's fucking shorter than a work day. So my mother's like out in Brea, which is, you know, however many 20, 30 miles away. So she can't just leave work to come pick me up. My sister's busy working at the hospital, so she can't. So I just walk all the way back from Olu to where I live, which is like 10, 15 miles, and I decided to wear fucking sandals that day like an idiot. By the time I get back, the fucking bottom of my feet are all completely black and disgusting. But like 5 minutes after I walked home, my sister's like, all right, I can come pick you up now. I'm like, don't bother. Like, I'm done. Like, I'm already home. I'm exhausted. I sweat. I feel like shit. I took a shower. I'm good.
I'm going to bed.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm done. I got my fucking money's worth for working today. Over it. It's just, I could never relate to the kids at that fucking school. Like, you, so many times you go to like the recycle and it's just like bottles they've never even opened. They just fucking bought them at lunch and like, yeah, I don't want this water, and fucking throw it in the recycle. Shit, okay. You had to dump, and they made sure that like anytime you collected those bottles too, you had to dump all of them out. So here's your recycle bin, which is like the size of a regular big fucking trash can, and then here's your bin to empty everything into in one bin. And it's just the most disgusting fucking mush of tea, fucking ginger ale, sodas, waters. Sometimes you get stuff that has texture, and you're like, ugh, like, oh, I don't know what that is, and I don't want to know what that is.
Was there many like fights in the private school, or was that not really a thing?
Not very often. It was more like kids got in trouble for trying to fuck other students. I remember one baseball player got, I think, suspended, and I think the chick he was with got expelled because he talked the chick into blowing him into the bathroom. So they were like, look, you're in our sports, so you're okay, but she's gotta go. She's a whore. Like, it's just fucking ridiculous. It's like, if you're a sports player, you can get away with anything you fucking want.
We had fights all the time, dude. It was like kind of That shit could break out like anywhere, like middle of the lunchroom. People did not fucking care, and you had to be careful if you went to a fight and you were seen in the background watching on like a shitty cell phone video.
Yeah.
You got like
World
suspended
star.
too. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They would get everybody standing around. So like you always try to stand at the back.
See, like I only ever got close, I think maybe once, because you get those like those preppy rich kids whose parents are doctors and lawyers, and they pay for whatever at the school, so they feel like they can do whatever and that kind of shit. So I had a lot of kids who like to get like handsy and they like touch or push or whatever. I had one spot where I just like snapped. I was like, put your fucking hands on me one more time. Straight serious. I was pissed. If he was about to, I was about to lay him the fuck out. And I'm really relaxed. So if you push me that far, I'm like, no, it's fucking going down. You put your hands on me one more time. As soon as I said that, whoa man, relax, bro. I thought we were all cool. I thought we were friends. I'm like, that's what I thought. Shut the fuck up. And like walked away. I'm like, don't fucking push me. Like I'm at my rope's end right now. Of course, that kid turns out like his parents are fucking doctors and lawyers, so that would have been like the worst kid to fucking lay out. But I was like, I'm at the end of my rope here. Like, do not fucking push me.
I ever watched. This is crazy. I knew the guy. He was friends with our group, and he was like this really cholo guy. I won't name his name, but he would. I mean, he did everything that like you see in the movies. Like he had like the one button top.
Of course.
On the flannel, but the rest was open. He had
Gold
like the
chain?
Chuck Taylors. I don't think he was rocking a chain, but it was his t-shirt was always tucked in, like Dickie pants, but like cuffed up to here, like
Of course.
everything. He wear a bandana and everything too.
Naturally.
Really cool dude, but like if you didn't know him, you'd be like, oh, stay away from that fucking guy, you know. And there was another kid that was like drawing like anti-Semitic stuff in like the textbooks and shit. And he was just like a racist guy. So this Andrew, oh, I said his name. Andrew. That's his first name.
As long as you don't say last name, nobody knows.
His first name, R. He was like,
For racist.
he's like, I'm gonna fight you. And Chris knows this church. It's right across from the high school. It's where all the shit went down. And it was a really dumb spot because you could see it from the fucking road that the high school's. Like you could see it from the lunchroom.
There's always a place
basically.
like that where it's just adjacent to the school.
Yeah,
where
that was for the
shit
quick
goes
fights.
down.
You know,
Yeah.
Candlewood Park or whatever. That's where the shit really went down.
Yeah.
But anyway, this guy's mom pulls up. She drives him to the fight.
You better not fucking lose if she
Doesn't
slams
even-
the door behind him.
Don't even drive away. She stays there. She watches it. He gets out. He beats the fuck out of this kid's ass. Like this guy, like he could fight too. And the kid rode up on a skateboard, like the racist kid. And after he like literally knocked him out, he just like hit him with the skateboard in the back. And it's one thing to see a video of that, but to see that in person is like shocking. Like I was
Right.
like, oh, I didn't like that.
That was
I did
a
not like
step
that.
too far. Like, oh shit.
And I'll never just forget that visual. I was like, oh, he's like fucked up, and we just like once I have it, we're like, oh, we're out.
Like, now we gotta go.
He just like walked in, jumped in the back in the car with his mom, and they fucking drove away. I was like, holy shit, dude, that's some like. She was down. I mean,
Mom, I need to go fight somebody. Did you hear what he said about Jews?
Right.
And she's like, that's it. Get your ass in the car.
she's like, what? All right, let's go. We'll
Just
get
like I
groceries
bought some brass
after.
knuckles. Yeah.
Crazy, dude.
We're about to pick up some unleavened bread on the way home. Let's go. Like, oh my god,
Yeah, that was
dude.
wild, dude. And that was the last fight I ever tried to go to. It was like too much. I was like, holy fuck, dude.
See, I always thought it was hilarious too, because I only live like 2 miles from Catella High School, and like they had a fucking daycare on campus because their fucking kids got knocked up so much. And it's just like they all had fights all the fucking time. And I remember like talking to my mother when we were like trying to pick out what high school I should go to and that kind of stuff. She's like, if you ever go to that high school, I consider myself a failure. I was like, I know like 90% of the people that go to school there. Like, I either went to middle school with them or I played sports with them. Like, I know like all of those people. Like, you're like, if I go to the same school with all the people I'm friends with, you're a fucking failure and like everything bad. I'm like,
Come on.
okay, like if you say so. Some of them though, they were total fucking dipshits. I know one kid where it's like his parents worked for the Angels because the Angel Stadium's right there, and he worked as a groundskeeper. So like he made some pretty decent money. He's at the point where it's just like anytime, because they always tore up the grass when they had to do like the monster truck shit and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They kept the grass and they planted that grass in their front yard. Like they got to keep all the nice shit. He got paid decent amounts of money. So as soon as this kid turned 16, they get him a brand new fucking Mustang. Not just like regular, but like the GT, Shelby, super fucking nice, all this shit. He drove it to my buddy's house that lived not too far away, who went to Catella, appropriately. And he's just, oh, that's a sick car, man. You should let me drive it. You should let me try it out. Fucking crashed it.
Oh, no.
Immediately crashed his car into a tree. Fucking totaled it. Dude it was his 16th fucking birthday. He just got that car. He let somebody else try it. Fucking crashed it. And I was just like, you're an idiot. Oh my god. At the time, that dude was like my best friend, so I was fucking tearing into him constantly. I'm like, hey, you remember when you crashed his car? Like, he's like, can you like not? I'm like, no, somebody needs to remind you that you're an idiot. Like,
You cannot forget this.
you can't forget that you do stupid shit and that you need to be on guard for your own behavior because you're a fucking idiot. His parents were like hardcore alcoholics, like drank to drunk every night.
Yep.
His dad fucking cut off his finger by accident. He worked as a butcher. He didn't even cut off his finger as a butcher. He cut it off at baseball practice when he was trying to set up the fucking pitching machine and it slipped and it fucking diced his finger. And then he tried to walk around everybody going, oh, you want to look at my finger? And I'm like, no, Ron, go to the fucking hospital. Like,
Put it on
nobody
ice.
wants to see that shit.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Oh.
Whole time afterwards, he's just, hey, look at these pictures that the doctor took while I was at the hospital of when they were reattaching my finger. Like, I can't express how much I don't want to see that, Ron. Like,
seriously. I'm right with you there.
and you could picture them. I don't even have to describe them.
Yeah.
Whatever you think they look like, you're right. That's what they look like. Like the stereotypical redneck, total hick style. I love them. They were cool people. They were nice. They could not handle their alcohol. It was bad.
I got a step further than public high school. I got to experience expulsion high school.
Oh, yes.
The hardcore kids.
So you get checked every time you go in?
Yeah, they would take your phones and like pat you down and shit.
Yeah.
But one of we would always do field trips because they wanted to like. It was truly there to
They were
reform.
afraid that you would stab somebody
Yeah,
if
it
you
was
were there
it
too
was
long.
less about education and more about reform.
Rehabilitation.
Yeah, we had like
Yeah.
a whole it was called Discovery, and it was like a therapy session essentially disguised as a class. But so one time a lot of kids there needed community service hours, myself included, so a lot of our field trips would be to do
Getting
community
those
service.
community hours, yeah.
So we went to, it's in Falcon. There's like these weird under tunnels where the Jimmy John's is that connects the side of the road of McDonald's to like where the Walmart is.
Oh, yeah.
There's like under tunnels there. And so we were painting graffiti under there, which is fucking stupid because like nobody would see it.
Nobody
Like,
sees it, yeah,
You would
there's
have
no
to
point.
go into the tunnel to see it, you know? So in hindsight, it's like, why the fuck were we doing that? But we were just like going like normal, everything's fine. And one kid just fucking bolts. He just took off. He was like, fuck this, I'm done. And he ran up the side of the thing. And I just remember two teachers like running after him. And after a while, we kind of all started running too, wanted to see what was happening.
Yeah.
And he ran right down the fucking parking lot into Walmart, and they lost him. They never found him inside of Walmart. Yeah, he came back because like court ordered and shit.
Oh, yeah.
I say
He was
they're
gone
like
for, like, a
parole
week.
officers at that point.
Yeah, he was gone for like a week, and then he had to come back. But yeah, he just fucking bolted. He was gone.
God. That's ballsy.
Those kids are crazy. They were like always looking because we would get random drug searches on like with a dog,
Oh, yeah.
and you'd have to put your backpack in the room, and like they'd pat you down, and then they would sniff the
You have to be
backpacks.
separated from it as they check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And kids would see that the dog, they'd look out the window and the dog thinks coming and like, oh, yo, I'm out, bro. And they would just like grab their backpack, get in their car, and fucking drive away. I couldn't drive yet. I was a sophomore, but some of those kids were seniors and juniors. And they really couldn't stop them, you know? Like it was that weird line where you can
Yeah.
only do so much.
Legally, what can you do?
Yeah.
Like, why did you leave in a rush as soon as the dog got here?
There was like 5 dudes, no, it was like 8 dudes and 2 girls. And like it was a constant problem that the dudes would just piss all over the seat on the on the toilet. So they would constantly take all the dudes into the bathroom to show them the piss. And then everybody would have to stand there until somebody like fessed up to it and cleaned it up. Sometimes we'd stand there a long time. Like everyone's like, that shit wasn't me,
I
bro.
mean, shit, kill time.
Yeah, right. It's less time there to learn.
And then I would shoot at the school with a BB gun at night with my friends because it's hard to explain, but there was a big native patch of land that years prior to me going there, I didn't even know what this building was. we would just like hit golf balls at it, you know, because it was like it was just the way it was laid out. It was really close. And we'd shoot the windows with BB guns, and then like fast forward 2 years, I'd fucking go into school there. I can see the crack in the window from the BB, like damn.
Still didn't fix that.
Yeah. There's a fucking woodpecker there. Every fucking morning, the woodpecker would just. And you're trying to fucking like focus on reading a book right now, and a woodpecker is just nonstop. The teacher would come up and smack the fucking ceiling. It would go away for a few minutes, and then it would come right
Eventually
back.
come back.
Oh, it was hell for AD.
You know the whole time too that teacher's sitting there like, what the fuck did I do wrong in my life that I have to be here?
There's a couple like that. There's a couple truly good people. Like in
yeah.
hindsight, I'm like, why the fuck did you put up with all that? Like just saints, you know. There's a couple asshole teachers though, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's gone.
Fucking our 8th grade. Do you remember the 8th grade teacher at Zion?
Mr. Lofink?
Yeah.
I remember teeping his house.
We did that a few
That
times.
was a good time.
But I remember, I think it was back when Aaron could drive. So it was like me, him, and Zach, and I think some other people. I don't remember. Like we went to the school, and it was unlocked. Like the back gate, they didn't lock it up for whatever reason or anything. So Zach just walked up to the door for the 8th grade door, and he just started pissing on the door, and he's like, he pissed on the door handle. He's like, you know, he has to touch the door handle. So, and like, the rest of that time, I'm like, I'm never touching that
We
door
didn't even have to
ever
worry about
again.
cameras back then. Like the only place
No.
with a camera was like the bank and shit.
There was no cameras.
Yeah.
Their whole security thing was we were just gonna have gates set up on both sides of the lockers and just close it completely at the end
It
of the
got
night.
tagged all the time. Remember that shit? You go to the
Yeah.
school in the morning and the fucking all
Graffitied
the
all up.
graffitis were all over the backboards and shit. Damn.
Wow.
I remember it'd be like, cause we have like a fucking quarter-acre field just in the back for some fucking reason. It's just a field. There's nothing in it. It's just open field, and it'd be like
And
it's right next to
cemetery
a
right behind
street. Yeah, with a cemetery directly behind it,
With a
and an
low
apartment
ass- with a
complex
low
on the
ass
other side.
wall. You could just sit
Yeah,
over
you
there
could
and
look over it. You could. We did a lot of times
We'd
because we were
often,
like, oh,
we'd
what's
often
going on
throw
over
the
there?
ball over there.
Yeah. And like, what's going on
accidentally.
over there? Is there a funeral procession? That's weird. You know, you're just like being a fucking nosy kid.
Oh.
They'd have like a lockdown because like somebody, because there's it's like a street, the cemetery, a couple of houses, and then like an apartment complex. And it'd be like some dude from an apartment complex would hop the wall, walk across to go to the
Yeah.
street on the other side. So they'd lock the whole fucking school down. 'Cause there's a stranger on campus and we don't know what they're doing.
God, or if a pursuit was like
Okay.
going anywhere near the school, they'd lock it down every time.
Oh yeah.
High-speed pursuits were not a thing in Colorado when I moved here.
No.
But that was very much a thing where we were from. Like,
That's all it ever was in Southern California.
was
You're
awesome,
like, oh, there's
too.
a helicopter. I wonder where they're going. Like, that's
you
cool.
see the spotlight, they're following you. Like, oh shit.
It'd only be the point where it's like you see the spotlight, and then when you see them start to circle the area that you're in, you're like, oh, maybe we should go. Like,
I would get so
You should
stoked
watch
though.
some.
You're like watching Sunday cartoons, and that shit cuts off, and the news hits, and it's a high-speed pursuit. You're like, fuck yes.
you're like, this is more interesting than whatever I was watching.
I loved them, man. Sometimes there'd be some pretty brutal endings though. Like they wouldn't
Oh, yeah.
cut it quite quick enough. Like I remember seeing a dude plop out of the car.
Oh,
Like the story was he stole a park ranger vehicle, and during that exchange they shot him, but he continued on with the pursuit for however long, like quite a while, and then he comes to the highway and the car just kind of comes to a stop, and you know like they always zoom in on the car and
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
The door opens and the dude just like
Plops out, yeah.
fell
You
sideways,
bled out.
and then they fucking cut the camera. I was like, what? What the fuck was that? I don't even know. He might not have died. He might have just like passed out. I don't remember, but
I remember it was a couple years later.
pretty shocking.
my dad used to move around a lot back when I used to see him, and like he moved to this one place that was right next to the 57 freeway that was right there. So big freeway, and it was like a 18-wheeler or like one of those cement, like a big fucking truck. This dude was drunk or some shit like that, passed out at the wheel, whatever. Dude hopped it off of the road, off of the freeway, broke through the brick wall, smashed through somebody's complete apartment complex, killing the person inside, going through and hitting apartments on the other side. And it was only like a year or so after he had moved out, and it was like right around the section that he used to live in, right there. And I was like, oh fuck. Like, that easily could have been the one that we
That's
were
your
in.
kind of luck. Like you would be the dude in the apartment.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm amazed I haven't been that guy yet.
No, we're too nice of a house now for that.
Oh,
They had to smash through a lot of house to get
knock
to
on
your
some
room.
wood.
Yeah.
They had to pass through most of that place to get to the master. Probably all right.
Yeah,
And it's
exactly.
brick, so probably stand a pretty good chance.
With my luck, it'd probably be like one of these drunk millionaire assholes just shooting their guns all over the
airplane
place.
falling into us is much higher.
Yeah.
With the Air Force right there, you could
good
definitely.
I mean, honestly, yeah, those fucking students.
Engine failure.
Dude, the fucking Thunderbird guy crashed. I don't know if you were living out here for that. They were doing like the Thunderbird shit, and one of them crashed in the field and found him. He
Jesus.
survived. I think he like ejected and shit, but the plane was there for a long time. They had to do an investigation and shit on it. Remember that?
Damn, that's right.
Yeah, it was like off when Powers turns into like Bradley Road, remember? That
Yeah.
big field over there.
So sick. We're gonna have a good view this year of the graduation.
I'm just looking to have a good view of the graduates.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. We could
I
go
don't
to it
know.
maybe. Well, no, we're not family. We probably can't.
I don't know, man. It's kind
Is that what it is? You have to be a family member to get on campus?
Probably. Well, like to get to stuff like that, you can go to sports and stuff without being family.
Well, if you let me go to those sports, I'm sure I can get in one of those families.
Yeah, exactly.
I've
That's why
seen
I
a
wanna
lot
go
of them,
football.
bro. I don't know.
See,
It's
that's why
hit or miss. They're a little more like.
Yeah.
you don't want to get a full barracks bunny, but you don't want the fucking prudes either.
Yeah.
There's a
So
fine
most of
line.
them are, yeah. Most of them are kind of prudes. Very like smart. They're like kind of nerdy. You know what I mean?
I mean,
Yeah.
I would hope so if they're gonna put in those multi-million-dollar machines.
For real.
Their dorms are crazy, bro. There's 6 floors on a lot of these, and there's like no elevators. So
Are they
Guys
like
just
how my
drop
old
them.
college was, where it was like first, second floor are guys' floors, and then floors above are female, or are they just like co-ed floors?
It's more like this half of this floor is that, and this half. So there's no real
so
separation.
it's like you're just on this side, they're
yeah,
on
they
that
have their
side.
own bathrooms, but what's interesting is there's like one bathroom to like 30 rooms.
That's what I figured. Like it's one
So,
communal bathroom.
It's
for
a
all
big
of them.
bathroom. There's maybe like 10 stalls in there, but still, man, like the morning time rush and shit, it's probably crazy.
I would say that's got to be terrible.
But every time I go there, they're not there. So they're doing something working, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty rare.
I always felt like that would suck, like having a fight with a bunch of people to get some counter space to brush your teeth or take a shower or some shit.
Yeah.
Each bedroom
But then
is
again, they must
shared,
have
too.
upsides. Like I would have flooded one of those like I flooded my last dorm, so I could see it.
They get a sink. They don't get like a microwave or anything like that. There's just a sink, and then there's 2 per room. They have a sink and a desk, basically. And there's a shit ton of rooms. I mean, it's just, it looks like a prison almost, because it's just
Probably
just
feels like one too.
back to back to back rooms.
Yeah.
And then, but it's kind of cool. All the walls are like painted. Like, there's weird sectors in their classes. There's like the Badgers, and the, you know what I mean. It's like whatever
You're
floor
like in
they
your
live
company
on.
or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah,
yeah.
So they all kind of decorate their own hallways, and there's like quotes and shit. And
Yeah, because that's how it was.
there's
when,
like old quotes too. It's like, you know, the war is not truly done until blah blah blah. I'm like, Jesus.
That's what it was like. If my brother, like when my brother went to West Point, it was the same thing where it's just like you graduated, or you do boot camp, you're in E company or whatever, E4, E5, whatever the fuck that
Yeah.
is, Eagles, or I think is what he was in, and it's like then the next year, then you move up and you're B's or whatever, like, and then it's like junior year you're considered a cow is what they called them all, because it was like that's the first year that you're allowed to have a car on campus. So then you see everybody bringing their cars back from across country, and they're all coming up over the mountain like a herd, so they call them cows and shit. So like I'm not surprised when it comes to that, but I don't know the difference between Army Military Academy and an Air Force Military
I
Academy.
think the Air Force is more to learn, and the Army's more to like
Break
see
your
what you can
spirit.
fucking do. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. It seems to be it. Their facilities are pretty nice. I saw their lacrosse team, dude. These guys were fucking going hard. I saw them practicing.
See, I'm surprised they would even have something like that. Like, I
They
get
got
football
everything.
and stuff because
Yeah.
it's America, but it's like, you'd figure they'd be like, the fuck you need to know lacrosse for? Get your ass back into class and learn some shit about how to kill people. Like,
Right.
We have like a
Learn
whole
how to fly.
baseball pitching facility. I just killed mice in the locker room because like they had a big box of protein bars, and they were just all ransacked by
Had
these
at it,
mice.
yeah.
Yeah. But they have an indoor football facility, and it's just a big ass warehouse that is nothing but a full size football field with like
So sick.
AstroTurf and everything. There's no stands, there's no bleachers. It's just like
Feed.
end zone to end zone.
Yeah.
And
Practice.
but from the outside, it looks like it's fucking massive. You're like, holy, because the ceiling is very tall, you know.
Oh yeah, they gotta be able to punt and shit.
Yeah.
Dude, that was the crazy shit about like my first college is because like being GCU, you know, private college, everybody can come. Jesus wants you here, that kind of shit. So then you go, and as soon as you actually enroll, they don't give a shit about you. Like, we already got your money, and we don't give a fuck about you. And then, like, you'd watch them over the years, and it's just like all of the fucking sports equipment and all of the gyms and all got like really fucking nice all of a sudden. You're like, is this where like all of the money went? Because the classrooms have not gotten any better. And, like, only occasionally you see them toss up another dorm or two, and it's like, oh, you're trying to get more students so you can get more money so you can get better equipment again.
Yep.
And it's like, I'd seen them. Like, I've been to, like, a Phoenix Suns game, and, like, I've been to our basketball games because they didn't have a football team, so basketball was their thing.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, the fucking stadium at the college was nicer than the fucking NBA games stadium. I was like, this shit's insane. Like, they had it one year, it was like LeBron came and like practiced at our campus, but they didn't tell anybody until after he was gone because they didn't want everybody to swarm the gym and shit. But they were like, yeah, they came and practice here before they went to go play their games and shit. I was like,
What?
he was here.
We're
Like,
breathing the same air as LeBron.
yeah, right. That's pretty much how it was for like a week or two. Everybody's like, oh my god, can you believe it? I'm like, I
Oh,
guess. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know why you're freaking out. We didn't even meet the guy. Like,
Right.
he was here and gone.
Seriously.
I noticed when going to OLU graduations, I've been to a few just because like cousins and stuff. After everybody's name, they read like what college they're going to.
Yeah.
And that is so not
They put it up
normal
on
in
screen.
our world because it's 50-50. Like a lot of those kids aren't going to college, but I feel like there it's like, I mean, you pretty
If
much.
you didn't have a college to put up there, it's like, oh, this kid's a loser, huh? Like, you see that all the time. Like,
it was a much
valedictorian
longer experience.
going
Just,
to
like, the
Yale. This
the
person
thing.
going to Harvard. This person going
name.
to
UC
Duke.
Fullerton.
And the Harvard person's
You
just
see
like,
it is.
Yeah.
What's up,
And
Al?
it was exactly like that too. It's like if you were going to like a UC or anything like that, they're like, "Oh, you're a fucking loser. Like, you couldn't get into the Ivy Leagues." Like, it's like, you know, that's like a normal thing to go to these schools, right? Like, not everybody has to fucking go to Yale or Harvard or something like that.
That is some California shit. That's crazy.
UC Berkeley, like,
That's like throwing
Okay.
shade out
Like
here.
everybody had the fucking thing. Somebody had like everybody had a
Yeah.
rope of some kind of yarn.
yeah, if you didn't have a
Fucking things.
tassel of some sort
Yeah.
or some
No,
fucking
there was like 3 kids in my high
medallion.
school that had something, you know what I mean? And they had to do
Yeah.
a speech, and everybody's like, "Fuck doing a speech, I don't want to do that."
Oh, fuck that.
Those speeches are always so
Over the
cheesy.
last 4 years, it has been an absolute honor. And then
Shut the fuck
they
up,
always say,
Jessica.
like,
You sucked dick for
Go
4 years. Like,
Lakers,
Yep.
something like that.
oh, every time.
I always wanted
Now,
someone
let's
who was
take a
just like, that was
selfie.
stupid. Let's be honest, we only did this because they made us.
It's like, bitch, I don't want to hear it. I had a 3.9 this year. I didn't give a shit. I didn't pay attention to any of my classes. You just sucked the teacher's dick. Like, let's be honest here.
Oh man.
God. And I feel justified in saying that. One of our teachers, do you remember Mr. Kramer? He was an English teacher. He's a bit of an older dude
Hey, Zion?
at OLU.
Oh, I don't remember anybody from OLU. I think
He was an older teacher. He was like the English teacher for like your junior, senior year or whatever. He got fired, well, asked to resign or, you know, pushed that way because he gave his students like a thing that he wrote that was like erotica and like not some shit you should be giving to students.
Yeah.
He's like, no, it wasn't like that. It was, they were asking for like a writing prompt and like some examples. So I give them an example of one of my writings. It's like, you don't have anything that doesn't involve dicking someone down? Like,
Right.
I don't know, dude. That seems a little suspect to me.
Teenagers too. Oh my god.
Right? Teenagers, a teenage girl.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So it's like, that's not a good, you're like 70 something. You should know better.
Oh, that's so creepy.
So that he didn't get fired or anything, but you know, heavily implied that he
Yeah.
should resign.
There was a guy at our middle school, Timberview, who got fired because he would look at girls' chests when he would walk over them, and one girl wrote "fuck you" on her chest, and he tried to bring her to the principal for it. And
How
she
do
was
you?
like, "Why was he looking?"
Yeah,
at
how
my
would you
tits?"
know that I have that on my
Yeah,
tits unless you were
exactly.
looking? Yeah.
And the principal was like, "Why were you looking at her tits?"
The fucking no self-awareness.
Yeah.
Same school, my band teacher, like 2 years later, had a bunch of child porn on his computer.
Yeah.
And then a couple years after that, he hung himself in his bay window.
Probably should. That was best case scenario for everybody.
Well, he did it with the shades open, and he because he lived like right on the way home that most kids walked by.
So they would see it. Oh,
damn.
That's crazy, bro.
that's
He was my teacher for like 3 years.
I feel like a bunch of kids walked past and were like, "Good, yeah,
Right, yeah.
I'm glad."
Like, how do you
I
like?
knew it. That dude was a fucking pedo. I knew it.
I didn't even like understand that fully as a kid. Like,
Yeah.
oh,
that
yeah,
that
he's
was a
dead now.
thing. Like,
What?
Right? It's like, what?
And then in high school, we had, like our science teacher was like hooking up with a student, like clearly underage student.
Yeah.
And then I went from passing the class with the pedo to failing the class with the pedo's replacement in a matter of a month.
Oh.
One more month left of the fucking year, and he fucking failed.
that's when you're
me,
sitting
bro.
there looking at your grades like, maybe that teacher wanted to fuck me.
I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Yeah, he just didn't care enough. But this new guy, like, bro, come on, we're traumatized, you know?
Yeah, right?
I mean, I didn't really care that much. But he was, I think he was a baseball coach or golf? No, tennis coach.
That sounds
Oh, it would
about
be
right.
Tennis, yeah.
I think he's tennis coach.
Tennis or the golf coach.
He taught earth science. And then the fucking astrology teacher came in and fucked it all up.
Oh.
Maybe that was the tennis coach. I don't know.
Fucking our astrology teacher in high school. He was a pretty young dude, like probably, I don't know, mid to late 20s, early 30s, something like that. And he was like, me and a couple other kids, he was like, you should come work for me. And I'm like, I went with him once where it was like, his thing was like, he was trying to sell like how you can buy Yelp reviews where like we'll have bots come in and like give you X amount of stars and that kind of, he was like going around to businesses trying to sell that as like his thing. I think I went with him once to like a vet clinic where he did it, and I was just like, no, this is not it. This is not what's on. Mr. Stolaire, if that was his name. Knowing now, that's probably a fucking fake name, but it's like, you know what? I'm good. I'm gonna go off to college in a different state now. So, sorry, I don't think I can do this job for you. It's fucking weird ass dude.
College in the mountains.
Didn't even do anything in the fucking classes. He taught us how to play blackjack.
Really?
Yeah. It was basically more or less free time, except for like a couple of students he was cool with, like me and a couple other kids. And he's like, "I'll be the dealer. You guys can play." And he was just fucking dealing out cards, playing blackjack. It's like, all right, I'm not gonna say anything. I don't want to fucking learn anything in astrology class. I could give a shit. Like,
For real?
Sure.
Yeah, that shit was a scam. You thought you were like gonna learn cool shit about stars, and astrology is really just like a bunch of bullshit.
but what does it mean to be a Taurus?
I thought we were gonna get like be looking in a microscope all day, every day during class, but no,
Nah, that shit was disappointing.
it's a rarity.
And it sucked too, because we had a teacher where he started I don't remember his name, but he started the year, dude, because it was always like, they did it to where it's supposed to be like a college, because they always prep themselves on being, we're a pre-college school, like whatever. The first semester is geology, and we had the old teacher for that, so you could tell he didn't really give a shit about that, because his whole thing was astrology. Dude lived up in, I always want to say Black Forest, because that's what's out here, but he lived up in Big Bear. So it was like a couple hour drive one way just to get to the school. So it was kind of ridiculous to even work there in the first place. But like his whole thing was like he had an iPad connector set up to like a telescope that he had in his house. And so like he would record things at night that he could see, and then he'd pull that up on the iPad so he could show people like the stars up close and everything. But he fucking left that semester right before astrology, and I was like, God damn it! Like that actually would have been interesting. But
Yeah.
no, we got the guy who wants to teach blackjack. Like
Blackjack.
I was in the bathroom one time in 8th grade,
that happens.
and the woodshop teacher was a very burly, bearded man. I don't know if it was the same woodshop teacher when you were there, but he looked like a woodshop teacher.
Yeah.
And I was in there peeing in the urinal. There's multiple urinals. There's like 5 urinals. He comes next to
It's
me.
a pixel one right next to you. Yeah.
This one right next to me, and he's talking to me while I'm using the urinal, and he's quite a bit taller than me. And like
He's looking for an excuse to look over.
it seemed like that, and he did like he touched me on the shoulders too. Like after.
Don't talk
And
to me
then-
while I'm peeing, especially don't touch me.
Yeah,
while
and then
I'm
he was
peeing.
like, you know, like a attaboy kind of thing, and then he did not wash his hands and walked right out of there.
Oh,
And I was like, what the fuck, dude? That was like the closest I've ever been to being assaulted in some kind of way. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's problematic at least,
yeah.
at the very least.
Oh,
And I still had to have his class like for 2 more years because he was a wood shop, metal shop, and drafting lab. It was like a kind of a 3-party you did in middle school. You had to start with drafting. Drafting was the most boring bullshit, and then you finally could do the metal and the wood, which I burned the fuck out of my finger on a spot welder. God.
Well, you remember Mr. Kangas.
Mm-hmm.
You would watch the 5th and 6th grade boys change in the locker room. Because, you know, he's trying to make sure that nobody's screwing around in there. But, no, I don't quite think that's it in hindsight. I don't think you need to watch 5th and 6th grade kids get to their underwears to change into t-shirts and gym shorts.
Yeah. No.
No.
Damn.
There's a lot of things in hindsight where you look at it, you're like, that was kind of fucked now that I think about it. Like, God, I can't. I think maybe it was James Gay. One of those other kids where he's just like, nobody liked him. Total fucking snitch kid, bitch ass. Nobody liked him. One
Tag
of those
Tag 'em.
kind of kids. Chat, pull it up.
Did you hear what he said?
At the time, nobody liked him, and it was like somebody decided like I'm gonna beat him up, but I don't want him to tell anybody. So, like as soon as he went into the locker room, they turned the lights off, and then they jumped him, beat him up a little bit, and then they turned the lights back on before they left. So nobody knows what anybody did because you know there's a bunch of people in there, but the lights are off, so nobody knows.
Poor James.
I want to say it was him because he was one of the kids that nobody liked a lot at the time, but it might have been one of like 1 or 2 other kids. But
I could see it being him.
I mean, he got pushed while pissing in the urinal and he peed all over himself, cried, and went to the principal. Literally cried and went to the principal.
His dad is a really, I think his mom too, but I really like his dad.
See, that's the weird thing. It's like he's one of those kids who's like nobody likes the kid, but everybody likes his parents. We're like, they're cool. I like them. Like, they're very personable. They're easygoing parents, but something about them.
He was like always Mark's mechanic. Jim.
Yeah, he worked on my truck constantly too. He actually got my old truck.
Oh, nice.
When I got rid of it to get the new one, we're like, shit, you've worked on it more than anybody. You can just have it. And I think he still drives it today. He still has my old truck.
He always had a stick shift Astro van. I remember riding with him a couple times to Boy Scout stuff, and he'd just be like, fucking banging that shifter. It was like a full stand-up one.
Dude,
It's always a shit box.
I felt bad when we went to Desiree's birthday party, and she lived right across the street from him, and everybody was in class and was invited except for him. So then, like, he comes
Aren't they
home.
cousins, bro?
I don't know. It was
Crazy.
some weird relationship like that.
That's
But like
fucking
she
crazy.
literally lived across the street. Like his house is like if we lived here,
Yeah.
it's not that lady that lives across the street from us. It's the one right next door. Like it's right fucking there. Everybody in the class was invited except him. So it's like he came back with his parents after like running some errands or shit, and he like, kind of just looks across the street and sees everyone, and he's
That's
not
so-
invited.
That's so sad, bro.
And like
It's
we went to the beach and did some shit, and I was just like, I don't even know why I'm invited. Like I'm not friends with her, but for whatever reason I got invited. I went, and he's just the one person that just
Bro.
didn't get it.
That's why I'm forever perplexed why I was invited to.
Some of them I couldn't figure out.
One
I'm like, why am
party.
I here? Like
It
I'm
was,
not friends
dude,
with these people.
It was every girl in the class, John Lin Yan, and me.
Yeah,
Were the only people invited to this party.
Yeah.
And it felt so wrong. I was like, why am I here?
you're like, I'm not fucking. Why am I getting invited? to
It was
this?
cool.
I don't-
It was a cool ass party. It was like at our beach house. They took us out on a boat. Like we were like petting jellyfish and shit. Like this was some rich people shit.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Just-
why am I here? And it was like the year I was moving, so I don't know if it was like
A pity invite?
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was cool with everybody, but I wasn't like, pop. It was a small clique anyway, but I don't know, dude.
See, I just remember coming back from like Huntington Beach, and like Zach was sitting in the back, and her dad was driving the van with like all of us. He just like had an app on his phone where the light flashed red and blue, so he just kept holding it up in the center mirror, so he thought there was like a cop behind him. Like anytime the dad looked back, he's like, "What the fuck?" And he just kept looking around all over the place, like, "Where the fuck is this cop?" Like.
Interesting times. We had some badass field trips back then, for sure. We were doing cool ass shit. Like looking at dolphins, like in the middle of the ocean type shit.
Just get to go whale watching. First grade.
Private beach, they got us one time. Private beach for the day.
Private school.
Yeah, that's where all your money is. We paid for it, I'm sure.
Our
parents paid pretty heavy for that.
It didn't come free, I can tell you that.
Nah. It's kind of the whole reason why we moved here. She's just like, I cannot afford to put 2 kids through Olu.
I don't even understand
No
how.
way in
like,
fuck.
Olu is one thing. I don't even understand how our middle school is still open anymore. It's just. It's one of those things where it's like people stopped like really enrolling their kids.
Yeah.
So like the only thing that was keeping it afloat was the church portion of it, because the church got donations and they gave the donations to the school to keep it. And then it was like the church started not doing well, so like a different church from, I don't know, 2 miles away closed down, and half their congregation came over to join our congregation. And then the fucking pastor left, so they had to get a new pastor, and then he got kicked out for whatever reason. And it's just like, how is this even open anymore? Like, it's got to be going down. Like,
That's a bummer too, because my family was heavily involved in building that place.
Yeah.
My grandpa helped build it, like actual construction of it. To my knowledge, my grandma started the school, which is
I wouldn't doubt
interesting.
it. Yeah.
Like started the school, and then my mom went there, my uncles went there. So it's like almost like a family legacy kind of thing, but yeah. It's
Even for like
great.
years after we had gone through and graduated and everything, my mother still did shit at that school. I was just like, are they gonna put like a statue or a picture up of you or something? Like, what's the point? Like, why? And she's just like, oh, the community, that bullshit. And she's like, no. It's even gotten to the point where I'm like, when's the last time you've been there? She's like, I haven't gone to church there in years. I'm like, yeah, I didn't think so. Nobody does.
I think my aunt and uncle were probably some of the only regulars anymore.
Show up 8 a.m. every Sunday, go and sing in that choir.
The choir, yep. Oh, dude, I
Robes and
think
everything.
I've only ever been to the 9:45 once. We were an 8 o'clock family because the 8 o'clock had the organ and the
Never went to
and the
8
choir,
o'clock.
and my grandma
Never.
would not have it any other way.
I think the only time I ever went there is because like 7th or 8th grade, they put you on the list where it's like you have to be the candle lighters or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then like they put everybody on a list where you have to do it like twice a year, and it's like one time in the early, one time in the later, or something like that. And it's fucking horrible. I was just sitting there, I'm like, I'm not even awake. I can't do this.
It's my bedtime, boys. It's 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
I've walked in the back door from work.
8 and then started this.
Jumped right into it.
The grind don't stop.
The grind never stops.
What about you, Chris? What's your relationship with God? Just kidding. It's
We're
jumped
not on
hard into
speaking
it.
terms at the moment.
It's like Jeffrey Epstein. It doesn't exist anymore.
I see, but I don't interact.
Well, all right. Good times. Got that right there.